the light without beginning or end, the light without beginning or end. I call on primal light. I seek refuge in the true light. Hail to the self-supreme, primal light. I seek refuge, 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 I seek refuge in the true light. I seek refuge in the primal light. I seek refuge in the light throughout the ages. The light without beginning or end. The light without beginning or end. I call on primal light. I seek refuge in the true light. Aten Aten Self-supreme, I am primal light. Aten I am the eternal truth. I am the unmanifest. Self-supreme. All is myself. I alone exist. Aten Yes, welcome, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. Join me. How to move from duality to non-duality. Today, I will be focusing on that the battle has always been the mind against the self. Everyone in the world needs to come to this realization that your enemy, your opponent is your mind. This is the reason why I'm engaging, trying to get everyone to go into stillness. From duality to non-duality, the mind must be made to come into self-realization that it is sleeping and dreaming of this world. The mind is impure and the mind needs to be healed. Who am I? This is the question you want to go into stillness and ask. You're asking of your self-intelligent self, your soul self that dwells in the void. The void and the self is indivisible. You want to call into your intelligence. Do not seek anything outside of yourself. It's all an illusion. Who am I? I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. I am void, unmanifest. I am primalite, prepared for the world with this self-identity as Auset, Aten. I am the liberator, and I advocate for all selves. You want to be on the mission? Self-rescue. To castrate this duality dream character, called the ego false self. To return to being your real and true self. The battle that must be won is against the mind. The battle has always been the mind against the self. The mind is sick and prone to delusion, mental sickness and evil. Stillness calms, purifies, and heals mind sickness. stillness is the remedy for the mind. You must engage the mind in stillness to move yourself from duality to non-duality. Will you play stillness with me today? I give honor to myself supreme. Let's move into the practice of the vibrations. All is myself, I alone exist. All myself must return unto me. Salutation to all my self supreme, selves in alignment to bring balance to this dream existence. Hail, hail to the primal light. Hail to the true light. Hail to the transparent light. Hail to the light without beginning nor end. Hail, hail, hail to the light throughout the ages. Hail, hail to myself supreme, primal light. I am primal light. I am the true light. I bow to the primal teacher. I bow to the eternal truth. I bow to the eternal self. I bow to the great supreme wisdom within. I bow to the great supreme truth within. I bow to the great supreme intelligence within. I bow to the great supreme teacher within. Hail, 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 hail to the primal light. Hail to myself supreme, primal light. Hail to myself supreme, Aten Ra. Hail, hail to myself supreme, self manifest. Hail to myself supreme, self unmanifest. Hail, hail to our next self supreme, the void self manifest. Hail, hail to our self supreme self, the void self, baby unmanifest. Hail, hail, hail to the unified, non-dual, void, unmanifest, supreme self. Hail, hail, hail to that which has no name, that can't be explained, our one and true self supreme self. Hail, 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 hail to the primal light. So we are going to do this first vibration because this whole aspect of what we're doing right now is to engage the mind and get the mind in stillness We want to get the mind to come into realization. It is just a mind, it is not a self. These vibrations bring balance to the mind. Chanting ah after your affirmation reprograms your mind and purify your energy. So let's go. Do it along with me because now you have the screen. And now remember to spiral the vibration around your body. One more time. And now we'll move on to the second vibration. And let's start the second vibration. Again, remember to spiral the vibration around your body. Let's go again. Ready? Now let's move on to the next vibration. I noticed that every time I'm making the vibration, this thing is clunking it out for whatever reason. So let me try it with this and see. So let's try the third vibration. Awesome. Now let's try that again. Are you ready? Awesome. Yes, I want to thank you again for joining me. We want to get the mind in stillness. We want to get the mind in self-realization. The talk, how to move from duality to non-duality. The talk will cover the question of what is duality versus the non-duality, and also how the mind, the battle that has always been, that we have to face has always been the mind against the self, and how to make balance with this mind, how to go from this duality mind to non-duality, how to go from this duality self to non-duality. So we're still on that. Let's move on. All is myself, I alone exist. All of myself must return unto me. I am void, unmanifest. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. Time to change the false narrative told by the supreme ego duality characters. For ages, the story has been told by the ego perspective. And now you can know the real from the self-soul, from the supreme self, the supreme observer, and witness, the witness self-supreme. And right now, all of ourselves is in alignment to tell us the truth, because they are being the witness to everything that has happened in this world. Your soul has been a witness to everything that's happened in this world. From the time your soul came in here, it has never gone to sleep. Only its baby self, the spirit in the body, goes to sleep. And that's what you have to wake up. It's time to move from duality to non-duality. All is myself and I alone exist. Duality is the existence, the dream, and the self lights get turned off, and the consciousness lights get turned off. Consciousness is sleeping and dreaming up all of this existence. This is very dangerous because in duality, the consciousness mind get very corrupted. The duality is slavery, ignorance, darkness, chaos, the dream, and sleeping. The non-duality is the light is on, you're awake, you're in balance and harmony, you have liberation, and you're in the real. Again, I want to say this salutation to all beings. This is from our Self Supreme. A message from our Self Supreme. Salutation to all beings. Human beings, God beings, supreme beings. I am yourself, supreme, self unmanifest. Self, that which has no name, that can't be explained. I am here to return all of myself back onto me. All is myself, I alone exist. I am that, has no name. I am that, can't be explained. All of you myself have been enslaved inside of my duality consciousness dream. I am here to dissolve this dream so all of myself will wake up from sleeping. It is time to return to balance and harmony, non-duality. Please practice stillness and self-inquiry so you can come to self-realization. This dream is being dissolved. The end of December 2022, this world will go into a blackout. Non-duality versus the duality. The electromagnetic beings, non-duality. Magnetic beings, duality. The mind, duality. The self, non-duality. The self versus the gods, the self is non-duality. The gods, the deities, they are the duality. The battle has always been the mind fighting against the self. The self must rise up and take precedence over its mind to exist in equanimity with the mind. So the duality mind, the mind, the duality is magnet. It is a proton. The mind is magnetic, speaks and always in thoughts, memory, and its imagination. The mind can be very deceitful, habitual, sick, delusional, and mentally unsound. Mind suffers from false identification. Mind thinks it is the all-knower and is the self, when in fact, the mind intelligence is only limited to this dream existence. Mind is just the thought processing and imagination aspect of the self. It is just a consciousness and it is not a self. We can agree that this duality mind is crazy. What is the mind? What are the functions of the mind? And why is the mind sick and is so habitual? These are some questions that I want you to write in your journal, because at the end of this talk session, you must be able to answer those questions for yourself. You must practice discernment, because the mind is always trying to deceive the self. The mind versus the self, like we say, the mind is the proton, the self is the electron, the self is the void, the self is the giver of light, the self is subtle, stillness, and does not speak, but will make directional motions to answer your question. Of course, the self can speak, but it does not speak. Yes, the mind also does this, and likes to imitate the self movement. The mind is magnetic, speaks, and always in thoughts, memories, and its imagination. The mind is very deceitful, habitual, sick, delusional, and mentally unsound. The light of the mind is off, so you should know that I am not this tainted, sick mind. This mind is very sick. So I want to ask you, how are you? How are you feeling? Do you have any mental encumbrance? Any impediments like depression, anxiety, excessive negative thinking, hearing voices, excessive mind chattering, constantly being looped in your memory and your imagination? Auset Aten is calling all selves to come to self-truth and play stillness with me. It's a mission to encourage all selves to engage in stillness and give up this ego character. How to know you are a character in this movie called life. It is time to return back to being your real and true self and stop playing this ego dream character. I want to prove to many ones that stillness is the remedy for the mind. Stillness is how you awake your supreme teacher within to pull this ego off of the self, how to take off your ego costume, your ego mask. How does stillness bring balance to a troubled mind? How to bring a troubled mind to stillness? These are some questions you want to add to your journal because you want to be able to answer those questions for yourself based on everything that I will be talking about. We will continue to have mental crisis in form of mass shooting, oppression, hate crime, murder, false self-identification, slavery, oppression, and the list goes on and on. Look at the craziness that's happening in the world right now. Why are we starting war? Why are we still oppressing women? So because the mind, if we don't come to this realization that the mind is the root of all the problems, we are always going to be having this issue. Everyone in the world now needs to be engaged in stillness and self-inquiry. This world is moving into balance. There is no time for you to be going out there doing stupid nonsense. Until this world is engaged in stillness, while this dream existence return to non-duality, there's always going to be chaos. Encourage others to practice stillness and self-inquiry. Think about it for a moment. Through your journey in this dream illusionary, beautiful, amazing world, your mind has always been feeding you a negative self-image. Mind say, I am more powerful than you. You're ugly. You're stupid. You don't belong. You are weak. Who is the mind telling this to? If you believe yourself to be this mind, is the mind telling this to itself? Right here, it is true that the mind is separate from you. I am not this body. I am not this mind. You need to be chanting this so that you know that you are not this body and you're not this mind. If the mind is separate from you, then who are you? Why is the mind always being negative and insecure? Now this has been made very clear. I am not this body and I am not this mind. Who is the you that is this tainted mind is convincing that it is not worthy to live abundantly, free, sovereign life? Your mind knows that it is imprisoning its real self. Your mind is telling its real self that it is the false self, the dream character. So why is the mind like this? Know this. Your mind is delusional. Your mind thinks it is a self when it is only a mind. You as the self, have a mind to explore the dream world. The problem is the mind is always imagining things that do not exist. Your mind believes that it is the real self. Why is the mind doing this? Why is the mind always thinking negative thoughts? Why is the mind always looped in its memory and imagination? Replay, replay, replay. As you can see, from the get-go, the mind has always been negative, deceiving, habitual, and impure. Therefore, I wanted to get to the root of why the mind is the way that it is. So I journeyed all the way back to the very beginning, before I came into existence and was given a replica of this tainted delusional mind. Why is the mind impure? When I ask the question, what is the root of all evil? Why do human beings do such evil things to other human beings and other life forms? Of course, it was the mind. Then my question became, why is the mind like this? How did the mind come to be this way? What can be done to curb the evil thoughts and bring balance to a troubled mind? One thing I realized is that if we are humanity, if we as a humanity aren't engaged in stillness and self-inquiry, human beings will continue to be mass shooters, murderers, warmongers, suffer madness and numerous mental illness. I challenge everyone to practice stillness. I encourage all to get out of your imagination and your memory and engage in stillness practice daily. I want to demonstrate how stillness brings balance to the mind. I want to prove that stillness is a remedy for the mind. So let's take a look now at the non-duality and the duality. The non-dual consciousness and duality consciousness. In the non-dual consciousness is an awareness, its light is on, there's void between the consciousness and the light. Now, here is the duality consciousness. It's only, and the light is on one thin sheet. The light is obscure behind the consciousness. Consciousness cannot see light. When the light is obscure behind consciousness, consciousness and the light is on one thin sheet. Consciousness cannot see itself. There is no void between the light and consciousness. The light is obscure behind consciousness. Therefore, consciousness thinks it does not have any light. So it goes about stealing other beings' light and dominating the self with its magnetic power and strength. Yeah, and so the time has come when consciousness, this duality consciousness, has to return back to being a non-dual consciousness. The image below show how the self and the mind exist presently. The mind is in front and your self is hiding behind your mind. This is a major problem because the mind thinks it is the real self and it has forgotten that the real self exists behind it. The real self has forgotten itself. Yeah. You, the real self, and your mind now exist on one thin sheet. There is no void between yourself and the mind. You need to have void to separate yourself from the mind so that the mind doesn't continue to obscure you and take over you. Your mind has been the ruler of you, and now you must self-inquire and enter into stillness to engage your mind to seek its real self. Because this duality consciousness, the consciousness and the light is indivisible. The self and the light is indivisible. And to create this duality, consciousness is sleeping and dreaming up using its imagination, and it is not real. And consciousness is thinking that all of this dream is real and everything belongs to itself. This duality creates impurities and corruption in the mind. Yeah, all evil stems from the mind. And so here, the mind, the duality consciousness is a self-replica of the non-dual consciousness. The non-dual consciousness is known in the world as Brahman, as the mind avatar. The non-dual mind avatar. Brahma or consciousness is the duality consciousness. Some people know it as Ra, but Ra is actually the feminine self. And when she wears the mind avatar, she becomes Brahma or consciousness. So what have we been doing? We've been worshiping the mind, and we need to stop worshiping the mind and to come into self-realization. Exploring the world as the mind. This is what we have been doing. Exploring the world as the mind. We have forgotten ourselves. Myself is no longer exploring the world in the mind because I gave that up. So everyone who are exploring the world as the mind, this is why you have to castrate this ego. You have to return back to being your real self. This mind, duality mind, must return back to be the non-dual mind. It has to return back. So everyone in the world that have a replica of the mind, they must return back onto consciousness so consciousness can maintain balance. Are you taking care of the mind that was known to you before you came into this existence? You were given a replica of this tainted consciousness to explore the dream of your supreme self. Your supreme self, Supreme Ra, she is the one that is using this duality mind. She gave you a replica of her mind to explore her dream. Have you been a good caretaker of the mind, dwelling in stillness and balancing your mind, cultivating your mind? No, you're just sitting in your thoughts and in your imagination all the time. You need to stop, get into stillness, self-inquiry, and cultivate your mind. Why the baby self called spirit must be awakened. You must, the supreme teacher within must rise up to pull this ego off of the self, because I show you over in that one, or they dwelling on one sheet. This is the way that the self needs to be. The baby self here, the mind here, and void between. Only the supreme teacher within, the self soul, destiny is to rise up and do this. If you don't call within yourself and do this, then the self supreme, Aten Ra, have to do it for you. And if she does it for you, it means that you will not rise up in the balanced non-dual world. So I advise you, if you want to rise up in the balanced non-dual world, castrate this ego. Be on the self. The mission, self-rescue. Remember, the mind is thoughts, memory, imagination, and very habitual. Why must I practice mind stillness? The mind is a tainted baby consciousness. The mind is tainted with impurities, memory replay, sick imagination, prone to mental sickness, and destructive ideologies that instigate cruel actions. The mind is very deceptive and does not know the truth about the self. Every evil begins in the mind before it is acted out into the world. Stillness purifies my mind. Stillness arises, the supreme teacher within. So pull the ego off of the baby self, call the spirit. This is the mission that you want to be on. Thoughts inquiry. Every time a thought arises, instead of thinking it, you must ask, from where does this thought arise? Return from whence you came. Be still, be still. Mind, be still. Mind, be still, and know that I am in command. I dissolve all thoughts as soon as they arise to disengage my imagination. Mind, be still, be still, be still, and know that I am in command. So let's do this together, and then we are going to do the affirmation, the vibration. Mind, be still, be still, be still, and know that I am in command. I am in command of the commandment, command. I am not this tainted, delusional mind. I am not this mind. I am not this body. This body is a dream creation to explore this dream world. I am not this body. I am not this duality mind. Mind, be still. Be still. And so, you want to say these 8 times, but, we're only doing it for, this one time here. But you have to be sitting and practicing this for half an hour. Now we are going to do the vibration to seal this in. Let's start with the first vibration. One more time. Let me try with the microphone because I'm always cutting it out. Now let's do the second vibration. One more time. Now we'll do the third vibration. Awesome. Awesome. And again, you want to do this for half an hour. And so now we will do the stillness. Bear with me a minute. So just remember that you want to be doing these vibrations, and remember to spiral the vibration around the body. Remember to spiral the vibration around your body, and just to be engaged into the stillness. So now we will do stillness. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching this video, and please share, because we want to get everyone in the world practicing stillness and self-inquiry, because as you can see, the mind of all the beings are going crazy. They're doing a lot of strange things, and cruel things. So now the world is moving into balance. There's lots of changes happening within the world, and you have to maintain stillness and cultivate balance within yourself, so that you don't fall into these negative aspects to the mind. Alrighty, so we're going to share the screen and go into stillness. I want to thank you again for joining me, and I just want to say, hail, hail to our Primalite self, Aten Ra. Hail, hail to our Primalite self, manifest. Hail, hail to our Primalite, the unmanifest. Hail, hail to our void self, manifest. Hail, hail to our void, the baby unmanifest. Hail, hail to our supreme self, the void, unmanifest, unified self, non-dual self. Hail, hail to our self, supreme self, one true self, that which has no name, that can't be explained. Hail, hail to the primal light. Hail, hail to all of my self supremes. I want to also acknowledge Supreme Ra. She has been the self of Aten Ra that is the world. And I know this has been a very struggling and trying for her, managing her consciousness. And I want to say reverence and honor to my masculine self, Shiva. I want to thank you for your great work that you have done in the world and for all the work that you are doing and still doing. And I also want to give reverence and honor to Shiva Shambho. And I want to give reverence and honor to the primal teacher. Hail, hail, hail to all myself, supreme self. I am so honored. I am so honored to be the one that is the baby self of Aten Ra. So I am dedicated to this cause, to bring balance to the world and to assist all of myself that is in ignorance. I take this this role very seriously, and I thank you very much for your faith and in me, and thank you for keeping me strong, keeping me going through the tough times. Thank you very much. So right now we will go into stillness. Welcome. Please sit in a lotus position. Close your eyes and visualize a sacred circle around you. I want you to visualize like the light as bright as the sun. Visualize your sun encircling you, and you are safe, you are still, and you are calm. Inside your sacred circle, it is just you and you alone. In stillness, it is about quieting the mind so that we can listen to our inner truth, our inner self, our inner intelligence, our inner wisdom, our inner teacher. I am stillness. I am awake, alert, attentive, and aware. I am stillness without thoughts. Thank you again.